to today's live. I thought we could talk about a movie coming out which is called Hail Mary. It stars Ryan Gosling and he's on a bit of a roll, I think. He was quite a good actor up until Barbie was released, was it 18 months ago, a year ago, last year? And I really think that that's helped his stock as an actor because I believe he also did The Fall Guy, which I haven't seen, but was based on a TV series of the same name. And he's also involved with Star Wars. So today's live's only going to be a short one, possibly 15 minutes or so. I just wanted to touch base and say hi, how are you, and what's the weather like? It's dark grey and very wet here in the UK. But we are in the middle of winter and it could always be snowing instead, I suppose. Now, I didn't realise the film Hail Mary is actually based on a book, and as I say, it stars Ryan Gosling. And if you're not familiar with the story, as I wasn't, it looks like our son is dying, and we've sent Ryan Gosling off on a mission to find out what's going on. And he's not a NASA astronaut, he's just an everyday scientist, I believe. So let's have a look at the overview on here. So science teacher, so he's a science teacher, not even a scientist. Roland Grace wakes up on a spaceship with no recollection of who he is or how he got there. As his memory slowly returns, he soon discovers that he must solve the riddle behind a mysterious substance that's causing the sun to die out. So it is the sun that's dying out. As details of the mission unravel, he calls on his scientific training and sheer ingenuity, but he may not have to do this alone. And the other plot is, I believe there's an alien race that have also come across this same issue and they're looking for solutions as well. This looks like a really entertaining film, and with it being based on a book, I thought it'd be quite fitting to chat about it here. I'm looking forward to this. As I say, Ryan Gosling has really his stock has certainly gone up with the more films that he's done since Barbie. And I've got good vibes about this. This is going to be released in the UK at least on the 20th of March. So we've got a couple of months to go before we get to watch it in cinemas. And the other cast members are Sandra Hüller, Milena Vanberg and James Ortiz and Lionel Boyce, just to name a few. I'm not familiar with the other actors and actresses in this film. Ryan Gosling, obviously, he's probably the biggest star out of the cast. And this looks like a really entertaining film. It looks like they've got it's got all the right elements, entertainment, bit of fun, with a bit of a serious tone. Something that movies, particularly modern movies, seem to be falling into the trap of is the MCU humour, which works to a degree, but then once you've had half a dozen films of the same humour, the same witty one-liners, they all kind of get a little bit boring and homogenous. Whereas we crave for something new and original. And I think this could be a hit. I certainly hope that it is, because we need something different other than the usual Marvel humour, which is wearing very thin at the moment. And I think that's one reason why the MCU is in decline, is because every single film is the same. Ant-Man and the Wasp, for example, looks no different to any other Marvel movie, whereas the original Ant-Man film was different because it took you down onto that fun level, being miniaturised and being run over by a Thomas the Tank Engine toy is quite humorous, but it also has a different perspective to what the MCU went on to become. Then they obviously started their more recent films, and they all looked the same. The aesthetics of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 were so similar to Ant-Man and the Wasp that there's no difference there. And it just kind of get a little bit boring and monotonous. So I have high hopes for this film, and it's certainly one that I will definitely be trying to get to the cinema to watch. So other things that we can chat about. So we've mentioned that. Book adaptations in general are a bit hit and miss. Some of the biggest hits, obviously, Lord of the Rings, the way Peter Jackson was able to bring that book to life, and but films based on life events as well. Apollo 13, for example, although not based on a book but based on actual events, was pretty cool too. But it's not just the hits. Lord of the Rings is obviously one of the biggest franchises. Harry Potter as well, a decent number of films and money made out of those stories. Stephen King is obviously a prolific writer, and he's come up with some really great horror books. And his books tend to get made into films or TV series as well, with varying results. One story that I think was a bit of a flop was the tower. Was it the tower? And yeah, they didn't. I think they messed about too much, given too much creative license. So they diverted from the main story and the main point that Stephen King was trying to make with that book. Getting messages as well. So, but welcome to the live. Just let me know where you are. Say hi, and what the weather's like where you're at. Other major book series and TV. The book series that we enjoyed was Shadow and Bone I think that was on Amazon, and we've quite enjoyed that. We haven't watched the second season yet, but the problem with these streaming services is they'll give you a glimpse into the storytelling, and then they suddenly cut the series short because of lack of viewership, which is a shame because there has been some really good stories, like The Expanse, for example, is one of my favourite sci-fi shows. And there's 9 books in total, but we only got 6 seasons of the show itself because it was cut short, and it moved networks as well, which doesn't help when you're trying to build a regular community. You want to build a fan base up, and then you swap it from Amazon to Netflix, or Netflix to a terrestrial TV, Sky or something like that. It doesn't work, does it? Because you're then chasing where is it going to be on next. But the Expanse was really, really cool. I was a little bit frustrated because there was an advert for an Expanse video game, and I thought it was going to be an advert for the next season. And there are rumours of the Expanse coming back on whichever streaming service, I don't know, but hopefully they will bring that back, and we'll get to finish off the book series as it was. So yeah, I mean, have a chat with me in the comments. I go live like this so that we can have a little bit of dialogue, and you can tell me what you think. What do you think of the videos that I've produced? What do you think of the stories that I'm telling? Are you excited about the next episodes? So yeah, do feel free to get in touch and leave me a comment in the box below. Another book series which has been made a couple of times into film is obviously Dune. Now, I remember watching the 1984 version, was it 84, 83, with Patrick Picard. He was in there, Patrick Stewart even, and Sting as well. And I really enjoyed the original Dune film. Then they obviously remade it recently, and they're going to make the 3rd book as well. I found the first film a little bit of a slow pace, and that might have something to do with the way the books are. But I did find it a bit of a slow pace, and I haven't seen the second one because it kind of put me off a little bit. Should I watch Dune? Should I sit there and should I watch the next Dune films that come out, and would you like me to give you a review of them? The review of the first film is that it's got some really nice elements. The cinematography is really good. The acting is great, but the story itself, I found it quite slow. and hopefully it gets a little bit more of a pace with the second and third films. So yeah, just leave a comment. Hi, I've got this Q&A thing. A guilty pleasure movie or TV show that I love. Guilty pleasure. That's one of those that you're not supposed to like, isn't it? I would say I haven't really got a guilty pleasure when it comes to TV shows or series. The Three-Body Problem on Netflix is getting a second season. I thoroughly enjoyed that, but it's not something that I'd call a guilty pleasure. So yeah, minutes. So do get in touch. Let me know what you think. I suppose Roald Dahl was another person, another author who's had a lot of his work transferred into a film, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one that stands out. I really enjoyed the original with Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka, but it wasn't well received by the man himself. Apparently Roald Dahl didn't appreciate the adaptation with Gene Wilder in it. Then they obviously made a remake with Johnny Depp, and it's interesting because I like the charm of the original and the songs, and it was quite a colourful film. But I think the remake with Johnny Depp was a little bit more true to the book. But I don't remember there being in the book these scenes with Willy Wonka's dad being a dentist and stuff. So it's always interesting when they do an adaptation from book to film. Obviously, as a reader, we have our own interpretation of the story, what it should look like, and the feel. I think they've done a good job with Dobby. General consensus is with Dobby that they got that character right. But it's always subject to the writers at that time or the directors, whether or not they want to be a true faithful adaptation of the author's work, or whether they want to input their own spin on things. And that then splits the fan base, doesn't it? Writer or as a reader, you have all these images in your own mind as to how you think the story should be. You picture these characters, how they should look, and then somebody comes along with a massive budget and does it totally different. It can be frustrating. So Roald Dahl, I think, is another author whose work is worth talking about, particularly with the film adaptations. So they've done The Witches. I really like the original Witches film, and Matilda. Matilda's a classic Roald Dahl, obviously made into a West End stage play, and that's been remade a couple of times. And again, when they remake something, they always seem to want to change key elements, and whether or not that's the right thing, I'll leave that up to you. You tell me. Is there some book adaptations that you've enjoyed because they've been truthful to the story in your mind? Or, what's the worst book adaptation that you've watched on screen? And why is it the worst one? What did they change from the original story that you didn't like? And if you're following me, if you're coming on the lives, I'm trying to do this regularly, give me some hints. Tell me what you would like me to talk about, and I can do the research and we can have a chat about that particular book or film. And TV series, the new Harry Potter TV series, they've made a few alterations which have got some fans a bit up in arms about, and some fans have accepted the fact that they've had to use different actors and actresses because obviously you can't use Daniel Radcliffe and that because they're too old. Although I was hoping that they would have a small role in the TV series, whether it be a cameo appearance or something like that. It would have been nice to have that. And obviously with Hagrid and Robbie Coltrane, it's such a shame that he passed away a few years ago, because I think he might have been one of the actors that they would have brought back to play Hagrid in the TV series. And but yeah, I'm going to wrap up the live. It's only a short one today. I've got quite a busy day ahead of me. I've got some writing to do and some interviews for jobs and stuff. But I just wanted to come on and say hi. and thank you for all the support that you continue to give the channel. This channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you so much, and I'll be back soon, maybe tomorrow. Although I've got a busy day tomorrow, I might actually do more lives next week. Watch this space. Watch this space, and I'll be back soon. Thanks again. Please like, share, and subscribe. Echoes of Betrayal will be out today. That's one thing that I've got to do because I didn't do it yesterday. And I'll have the next episode ready for Friday. So I'll be back at some point. So take care. Cheers for your support. Thanks.